and welcome to Furious Driving and another episode of Breaking News, the semi-weekly update on stuff when there's not a full massive restoration job going on, but there is updates on the cars on the fleet, so stuff is happening. And today is a very exciting day. You might recognise this steering wheel, this dashboard architecture, these headrests. Yes, I'm in the Mk1 Focus because finally I'm actually driving the thing for the first time. I'm not just sitting in it in the driveway or doing the short distance to the MOT station and directly back again, because that is literally the law. Yeah, been a bit of a delay putting this car back on the road, not for anything mechanical, but entirely bureaucratic, the slow wheels of the DVLA's bureaucracy, and so I've been having to wait for the V5 to arrive. And the V5, if you're not from the UK, is the red and blue bit of paperwork which basically says you own the car and you can't tax the car without the V5. So unfortunately the previous owner of this car did pass away a few years ago, and the story of how I got it was the car was in his garage and it was kind of forgotten about after he'd gone, and the house was being sold, and so finally the house was being cleared and then needed the car gone, and it came to me. And unfortunately a lot of its history is in this Ford book that was in the glove box, but a few receipts and notably the old V5 were in the house and were inadvertently thrown away when the house was being cleared. So when I took possession of the car, I had to fill out a special form, I think it's called the V62, and that tells the DVLA that you've obtained a car but you haven't got the new V5 for it. You pay £25 and they have to do various checks that you haven't just nicked a car, and eventually after over a month you get the paperwork. Unfortunately, all that time it was on Sawn and the previous owner's name, so it wasn't illegally held. It wasn't a non-taxed car, it was a Sawned car. And I noticed a week or two ago that it had gone from Sawned to untaxed, and they'd taken the £25 fee out of my bank account. That meant that it was my car, but I couldn't do anything with it. Frustratingly, it was sitting on my driveway, but I couldn't tax it and drive it anywhere. And I cannot tell you how irritating that is, just having a car that is ready to go, but you can't drive. Yes, before you say it, I do need trade plates. That would make my life so much easier. But anyway, I'm now finally out enjoying the Focus for the first time. I'm on a road trip down for work, down to Rye, which is about 35 miles away, so a 70-mile round trip in this thing. I'm getting to actually enjoy this thing because Focuses are really nice to drive. When you see them out and about still every now and then, less and less, I have to say. But you don't realise that under that, well, now very familiar skin, is a beautifully tuned chassis. Richard Parry Jones is one of my all-time motoring heroes. When he was at Ford in the 1990s, he fine-tuned all of their range that he was involved in just to be the best drivers' cars out there. I mean, BMW had the ultimate driving machine moniker, but the Fords were absolutely on par with them. They were front-wheel drive rather than rear-wheel drive, and that counted against them in terms of marketing. But yeah, hang a Mk1 Focus around a sharp corner on a twisty lane, and it's so much fun. This is actually my second job of the day. Not YouTube jobs, believe it or not. YouTube does not pay enough for me not to go to work. The first job was in South London, and this could have been my first proper drive into South London, because this is incredibly, for a 23-year-old car, ULEZ compliant. Who knew? But I thought, where's the fun in that? I don't want to drive up a boring motorway and then around a boring South Circular and boring queues, when I can head down to the South Coast a couple of hours later and have a proper drive in it around some fun lanes. Now, the question I get asked most about this car is, what am I going to do with it? Now, I've said several times on the channel I would really like a Mk1 Focus as part of my collection, because I do think these are an up-and-coming definite future classic. I think I've even named them as a future classic in a What's a Future Classic video, because it does everything so well. It's a great driver's car, really comfortable seats, huge boot, compact dimensions, ULEZ, as I said, cheap to insure, cheap to tax. It does everything right. But look around next time you go out and you'll probably see one or two, maybe three Mk1 Focuses still around, but most of them are starting to look a little bit shabby. There's a few nice ones like this, but on the whole, they're looking a little bit down at heel in many cases, like rot in the doors, rot in the wings, and it's only one or two MOTs away from being off to the scrapyard, because they're not at the value point, in the most part, to make it worth restoring. If it's a 100,000 mile car with rusty rusty underpinnings, then who's going to spend the money? So I think we're about a year away from these suddenly getting quite valuable. And as I said in the previous video, there was an estate version of the same year and mileage as this car for £4,000. As far as getting this car finished is concerned, I need to give it a really deep clean. I still haven't given it a deep clean yet. It's so well kept and so well cared for. I've just basically thrown a bucket of water over it and it's looking good. I need to replace grab handle, this leather steering wheel. I don't know if you can see the back of it looking okay or not, but I didn't realise this was leather. I thought it was rubber and it had melted. In fact, it's leather and the surface has gone kind of weird. So I need to replace that. I don't think I can get it recovered, but I do need to get a new steering wheel. And as far as the appearance of the car is concerned, I've decided I think it is worth paying the money to get it done. Then it will easily be a £2,000, maybe even more, car waiting for that right buyer who wants a low mileage, well cared for car. I am basically now waiting on the painter to come back to me. I've said yes, please do the job for me, and he's not replied yet. What is it with me and painters? Did not want my money? Oh, nice Freelander. So getting out here into the I think it's Romney Marsh on now. There's wonderful twisting roads with 90-degree bends. You can really exploit the fine steering, that snappy gearbox, incredible road holding. Oh, it's so much fun. Trouble is there are a lot of coaches and camper vans around. This is really, really nice car to drive. The gearbox is so snappy. I love the really simple, crisp instruments in front of you. No digital nonsense, just a lovely, clear numeric and a nice straight needle. And the steering just talks to you all the time. It's lovely. What a great little car. My only complaint really is that the 1.6 I think feels a little bit underpowered. I think the 1.8 or the 2 litre would be the one to go for me personally. If this was an ST170, there would be no question that this would be staying around. It's only because it's a 1.6 and a 4-door I'm thinking, do we want to be making space for another vehicle on the driveway when I've poured so much money into it? This thing really is just so much fun for a little ordinary everyday hatch. It is so much better than it has any right to be. The gear shift is just so snappy and sharp. I mean, it's got to be up there with things like the MX-5 and the gated manual on a Ferrari. It's brilliant. Yeah, my only real criticism as a driver's car is the 1.6 is just a little bit lacking in urgency. But it does mean though you can kind of thrash it through the gears and it feels like you're going a fair bit quicker than you are, but it is a little bit frustrating if you want to be getting to the speed limit straight away. This really is kind of one of those perfect cars for a back lane, a B road, a small country place. Oh, Lyd Airport. Oh, last time I was down at Lyd Airport, I was taking photos of a 600 horsepower rough Porsche 911, which is significantly quicker than this, but was it more fun? Don't know. Anyway, right, so I have now broken the, whatever you call it, officially driven the Focus for the first time. It's now part of the fleet for as long as it may last. And it's definitely a fun car to be in. Well, I'm enjoying this thing a lot. Now, this isn't the only car we're talking about in this video. There are 3 cars to talk about in this particular episode of Breaking News. So we'll say goodbye to the Focus for the time being, not forever of course, and we'll go and have a chat in the second car of our 3. So, on board in car number 2 of this episode of Breaking News. Now this is one you are very familiar with, I'm sure. This is the 2000 Mercedes SLK 200 compressor, the car that was the prize giveaway car, with the prize draw happening I think on Friday night, wasn't it? Yeah, Friday just gone. So this week has been a busy one for the SLK, but things haven't gone quite to plan. So there have been a few things that have been hanging over this car waiting to get done. So finally I got around to fitting the auxiliary belt that was in the boot, and then getting the second auxiliary belt which didn't come with the first one for some reason. and fitting that as well, so we've now got 2 new auxiliary belts. Finally changing the coolant to proper antifreeze, because when I first got it, it was losing coolant, and that was the reason it was so cheap. Fixed that, ran it on tap water for a few weeks just to make sure everything was good. Then the radiator fan fuse failed and it blew a bunch of water out, so I just filled it again with tap water just to make sure we're all still running on the right thing. And I've never got around to putting the correct coolant in because, well, I was just checking everything was still okay. So finally, I've gone and put about 30 quid's worth of the correct coolant in it. So we've added another £50 or £60 to this car's value in parts alone immediately. Then there was the slightly unexpected requirement that last week I was just getting into the car and driving off, and there was a sound, and a stone chip that I hadn't even noticed because it was sitting kind of just down below the scuttle line, had suddenly splintered into a great big arc of a crack across the windscreen. So yesterday morning I was up bright and early and round at auto windscreens before 8 o'clock in the morning, getting a lovely new bit of Pilkington glass put in the front of the car, so this thing continues to evolve into a better and better car. And that's the good part. Then there is a teeny tiny weeny issue to talk about. Everyone was on tenterhooks on the live chat waiting to see who the winner was going to be. The winner wasn't on the live chat, didn't see himself come up as the prize winner, unfortunately. However, he got in contact with me a day or so later and apologised and said change of circumstances, couldn't accept the prize, so he couldn't take the car. Now, I've learned a lot. This is the first time I've done a raffle, so I've learned a lot in the meantime. So if I was to do a future raffle, I would do a second prize. So the small print would then change to, in the event the first prize winner can't accept the first prize, they get a mug, and the prize will then go to a second prize winner. Because it's an automated raffle, I don't have any control over, and it's all legal and automated and keeping within gaming rules. It's all very much done above board. I can't do a redraw, not that I'm aware of any way of doing anyhow. So there was a small print thing I found where basically you can offer the prize winner a cash alternative, because if he doesn't accept that, doesn't click that he's accepted it, and I don't say basically it's very awkward. Everyone's tickets they've bought kind of go into a limbo state. The charitable donation portion of the raffle doesn't get paid to the charity, and it all gets messy, frankly. I offered him the cash alternative, he was happy to accept that. The raffle is now officially closed, but I still have an SLK, and yeah, he's won a raffle but got a different prize. So yeah, my main concern though, because my main concern was that no one thought I was trying to do a scam raffle and not give a prize away, take people's money and not give anything back. So the prize winner is very happy. Everyone's satisfied. I am now back though to continuing to do what I was trying to avoid doing and putting things right on this car. So next week I've got an MOT booked, so it's another 50 quid, but it means it will be running with a fresh windscreen, fresh coolant and a fresh ticket. So if I do put it back into another raffle again, at least it's going to a new owner with a 12-month ticket or so on it. So that's a good thing, I guess, in a way. But the question is, yeah, what do I do with it? Mrs. Furious was quite happy to sort of see it come back and be potentially her car again. She started using it some more. I was going to film this last night, but she actually stole it. So yeah, it's already missing from the fleet. But then we did see an R171, the next generation on, in a car park when we were out the other day, and she was like, oh, that's really nice. So I think maybe she's hankering for one of those now already, so I don't know. Or should I do some kind of modification project? I mean, now I've got it. It goes without saying, I'm already looking on eBay for better headlights that aren't as faded. The trim pieces in the back, I'm back looking for those again. Cans of paint to sort out the rust. All this stuff, I can't help it. It's just one of those things. If I see a car with a defect, I have to go and prod it and make it better. So yeah, this is where this car is at. Wasn't going to be any more updates on this car apart from like a photo of the new owner driving away in it, except of course he isn't. So yeah, problemo, big problemo, dude. Yeah, so there we go. Anyway, right, so this is car number 2, SLK. The thing that I've actually mentioned a number of times when I've been talking about this car is how wonderfully it drives. I mean, it looks a little bit scruffy on the outside, especially all the stone chips at the front, but this thing it just glides. I don't like automatic gearboxes because I think they're uninvolving and dull-witted, but this thing, it is kind of a Grand Tourer rather than a sports car, and it just floats down the road, and the gearbox kind of makes that kind of magic happen. It kind of keeps it just creamy. I might even have to go and throw some money at getting this roof fixed, maybe take it down to Stevenson's and pay them to sort it out with a new piston thingy in there and stripping all the interior out, because that's people did say to me, why don't I fix the roof? It's only a cheap part, and then sell it with a functioning roof, because the only thing that's wrong with the roof hydraulics is that piston up in the roof. Even after I replaced the new O-rings on it, it didn't work right. It just still leaked, and I think there was actually some markings on the piston of the hydraulic already. So I wonder if someone had a go at it previously or had a bit of a poke at it. I don't know, because it leaked badly before, it leaked just as badly afterwards. Anyway, the thing I was saying is that if you do replace that hydraulic ram up in there, it's not an expensive part by any means, but the hydraulic line into it is crimped into the piston, and to get to a junction point you've got to take all the roof lining out, which you've got to do anyway, then all the side trim out, all the interior trim. I think the seats have to come out, the side trim of the car. It doesn't have a junction point until it hits the boot, so you've got to strip most of the interior out of the car. That's where the effort comes into when it comes to doing that. So it's a tricky thing, and if it still doesn't work, then you're really, really miffed. I'm quite happy to run around in a hardtop version. Anyway, right, let me take you to car number 3 in this episode. We've done the Focus, we've done the Mercedes, now let's do something totally different, but one you know well. So here we are in the barn of broken dreams, my little nest of incapacitated automobiles, and yeah, we are looking once again at our friend, the R50 Mini, which has been here on a jacks for a couple of weeks now. The reason being, it's due an MOT and I couldn't get the ABS light out. Bit of research and parts information told me that the reluctor ring that controls the ABS, information coming to the car's computer, is part of the drive shaft on this particular car. So you buy a drive shaft with a reluctor ring in it, and that's what I thought I'd done. So I fitted that, which took an inordinate amount of effort. It should be about a 2-hour job, even if you're unsure what you're doing. However, many frozen, rusted, stuck bolts and hassle meant that it really wasn't that kind of a job. It took about 2 days. Anyway, got it all back together again, and it turned out that people in the comments were correct. This particular model of R50 doesn't have its reluctor ring in the drive shaft, it has it in the hub carrier. So the second piece of stuff which is far easier to change. I say far easier. No, it's not. It's basically, well, I'll show you what it is. Because yes, in theory, this is a really easy job. Half an hour's work at the outside, if all goes to plan. Probably takes longer to jack the car up and take the wheel off than it does to actually do the work. So this is the new wheel hub bearing, hub carrier if you like. This is the face that sits on the back of your road wheel. These 4 big bolts are actually what you bolt your road wheel to. So this is how integral a part it is and how obvious it is. The splines in the middle, that's what your drive shaft splines link up into and propel the car forward. On the back of it, you can see this dark ring here. This is the actual reluctor ring that we needed to replace all along. You can actually buy these separately. And if you don't completely destroy the part you're taking off, you can reuse the old part and put a new one in for about £6. Didn't go that way. And these 4 bolt holes just here hold this hub bearing onto the hub carrier, and they bolt on from behind, from inside the car, if you like. It's 4 bolts, I think 12 or 13 millimeters. Easy peasy, just undo them, put this on, new bolts in, job done. Except when it isn't. Except when I'm doing it and it's this car. I spent an entire day fighting those bolts and they would not come undone. Came back for a second day, finally managed to get 2 of them undone. And that's where you pick this up. Oh my goodness, finally success! Can't touch it. Yes, I've got gloves on. Got this one out at last. The 3rd one is free. All it took was quite a long time, ouch, with a carefully shaped end on the induction heater. A bit more bulldog soaking in over the weekend, but mostly these US Pro bolt extractor nuts using a 12mm socket on a 13mm nut. I've finally got number 3 out. Now I don't care about destroying these because that is destroyed, because over the weekend or over the last couple of days I did go over to the local mini dealer and actually buy a complete new set. I don't know if these are used once or not, but since I was trashing them, I figured I'd get new ones. £1.20 each or something silly, £1.16 each. Not worth not changing them. Now, just go to number 4.
4 hours later.
When you see this tool, instead of this tool, or indeed this tool, you know things aren't going well. So I've got a big flat grinding disc, which seems to be the trick to removing metal. Yes! Ha! It's off! It's off, damn you! It's finally free! Oh my goodness! And look, there is. So there is the wafer thin bit that I've taken off, and there is the reluctor ring. I didn't just spend a day fighting this bloody thing. I could have just cracked on and spent 2 days fighting this thing, which is now free, and so I can put on the new one at last. But I might actually take this off. I think I'm going to replace this heat shield before I do anything else, because that's also really manky. So I'm not going to put it on straight away. I'm going to go and get a new heat shield, because that's grim and rusty. Well, I've come fully prepared this time. I've got myself a new dust shield, all shiny and resplendent and not mangled like this one is. I have got the correct tools. It's a what is it? T something, T20, and I've got a mallet and all kinds of other stuff. Thing is, this is not coming undone. One of them isn't even attached to the remains of the thing anymore. This really is a question of how much do I feel like battling this right now. I've brought a drill, I've brought drill bits, I'm fully prepared to go and fight this thing out. But I'd really rather just put the thing on the ground and take it for a drive and see if this reluctor ring repair works or not. Oh, one has actually come undone. I did not expect that to happen at all. So we might actually win this particular battle. The trick was, get your next size up, this one's a T25, find yourself a sledgehammer, batter the thing in there, and hopefully just go gently with a hand tool rather than an impact. It might actually break the thing free. Or it might just rotate in there and shred it some more. No, that one is not going to work. That one is grinder spec, not the dating app. Oh, two have come undone. Niles crane face. I'm sure you can still buy these from Mini as well, and I really wish I had. T is the only solution right now. Okay, T has helped, decision made. Not going to use impact, that's not going to work. Not going to use the drill, that's not going to work, initially anyway. Going to use grinder, remove top of bolt, and then use drill to take out middle of bolt. There we go, that rotated it. It is free, bizarrely. Who'd have thought it? Just need to find something small enough now to fit into that to actually make it turn. There we go. T15 just about goes in there. Job's a good one. Okay, good. So that bolt is not a lot of use. I've got 2 good bolts, 2 not good bolts, and 1 still stuck in where it had rusted off from the bottom. So that's good more for the in the bin scrap pile. And this last one, I just need to get a bit more medieval on. And yeah, see how I can get it to come free. Now this one, where it's been hammered and attacked and ground and softened by all that kind of stuff, also broken off the bottom corner of the dust shield, I was able to turn up the corners of what was remaining of the dust shield and use that as leverage to turn that. So there we go. Hey, free at last, all 4 finally out. That was easy, wasn't it? Well, I'm really glad I managed to save a couple of these bolts, not that one, because I did bring a bag of small screws and things over from the garage at home thinking I was going to have to damage them, and none of them are anything like that. These are not really so much screws as small Torx topped bolts. So luckily, well, sort of luckily, two of these fixings are very inaccessible once the hub carrier is back on. Two of them are sort of okay to reach, so I'll fit on the two that are remaining with the two bolts in the hard to reach places, and I will refit. I'll go down to the Mini dealer and try and get a couple more from them of the correct ones and make them all fit properly. This is a superfluous job. I didn't need to be doing this one, but having got the new hub carrier, the new drive shaft, painted the calipers. I mean, silver wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do like a dark sort of metallic grey colour. Halford just didn't have any other paints in stock when I was doing this. Anyway, it's far better than the obnoxious red that it was before. So there we go. There's a lot of packing. This is a Febby part, so it's pretty OE spec. Here we go, lovely new dust shield. For viewers in the Midwest of America, this is a dust shield that sits behind your brake calipers. You've probably never seen one. By the time your cars reach the first inspection, they're long gone. So yeah, there we go. Just bolt these things in back from the rear. I am of course using some thread lock on this thing because I really don't want my wheels falling off. That's generally considered suboptimal if it does happen. So incredibly, I am actually doing this properly. Thread lock, new bolts, and torquing it to spec. 56 Newton meters of torque according to the Haynes manual. There we go. Job done. Just need to turn the wheel, do the other two, torque this thing up to 172 Newton meters or something ludicrous. But yeah, it's quite handy having that the hub nut on there, because it means you can actually stop the end falling off when you're trying to juggle this all around and get the bolts in. There we go, all done. That looks really, really good. I forgot we've got a new drop link in there as well. All this stemmed from an ABS light that wouldn't go out. So having had an ABS light that wouldn't go out, I've now got a new drive shaft, a new drop link, a new dust shield, and a new hub bearing. I'm gonna have to go and buy some new little one of these fixings here, because these aren't going to last very long. I put a load of copper grease on the back of these things so they'll wind out fairly easily and be replaceable. Now I'm just going to put the brakes back on and we're good to go. Finally put the car back on its wheels. Right, this isn't even like a how-to or anything like that anymore. It's now just a case of getting it done. Cable tied the caliper up to the top of the spring to keep it out of the way. Oh, I didn't need to do that just yet. That was a silly thing to do. I can leave that just there. That's over here. I painted that silver as well because someone had painted that horrifically red and it did not look lovely by any means at all. So give me 5 minutes to reassemble all this, trying to remember how it all goes back together. I'm really glad I just did that shot of the hub carrier because that looks so nice with all the new parts. So that's got the BMW script nicely wire brushed back so you can see it. This all looks a lot nicer than it did previously. Two things I will quickly mention. The paint I used on the caliper is VHT, very high temperature paint. Not caliper paint specifically, but high temperature stuff, because otherwise it will just burn straight off. And secondly, don't put copper slip on the back of modern brake pads. They're not designed for it. If you're going to put grease anywhere, use proper brake part specific grease, and then only sparingly, and in certain places like on those ones, you just put them on the little ears that slide so that they can actually move without any interference. Last thing to do is to torque up the hub nut. 182 Newton meters of torque. Car is in reverse because that's the lowest gear I've got. I've not got a second person to put a foot on the brake, so hopefully this won't break the gearbox. That's a lot of force. A lot of these are one-use bolts. Anything that's a one-use bolt I have one used. And finally I'd need to hammer that in there, little rebate thing just to make it not turnable at all. And then we can put the wheel, well, not turn the wheel on, then we can go and check the ABS malarkey is actually working. The car is up in the air. Front right reckons it's doing 20 kilometers an hour. Front left doesn't reckon it's moving. Oh, for crying out loud. So why is that not working? Why have I wasted weeks of time and hundreds of pounds of money trying to make this thing work, and it still doesn't want to play? So that is not where I wanted to end this video. I wanted to end this video with the ABS light going out, the airbag light. I know the reason that keeps coming on. It's dodgy wiring under the driver's seat. Basically, there's a little diode LED thing in there that's probably come loose again. I just need to replace that or tighten up again. But the fact that the ABS light is still on, it's getting no wheel signal. I've replaced everything. Previously, I've already replaced the sensor for the ABS. I've now definitely replaced the reluctor ring in both options of place, the drive shaft and the wheel bearing, and it's still not getting a signal. So the only thing left I think it could be would be the the wiring, the loom into the car. That's the only thing left that's available to change. I think what I'm going to have to do is book it into a Mini specialist. There is a this generation Mini specialist not far from here. Drive it down to him, get him to do that and MOT it all in one and figure out, or see if he can figure it out, because I am kind of run out of options at this point. I don't know what else is left to change, and I would really like to take this car for a drive rather than just look at it here in the garage, which is becoming frustrating. Anyway, so this has been this week's breaking news. We've got a Ford Focus on the road, we've got an SLK back again unexpectedly, and we've still got a broken Mini, which, well, it's not a massive surprise, is it? But I was so happy a few minutes ago when I got lovely kind of front corner, everything looking new and shiny and fresh and amazing, and it still doesn't work. And this is so stupid. This is the only thing keeping it from the road is a light on the dashboard. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe if you want to become a member or a Patreon to help support this channel and the valuable work I do. Yeah, and please hit the links in the description, and of course check out our channel sponsors in the description below, Diamond Bright Car Cleaning Stuff and Lancaster Insurance, both of whom do very good jobs, as I'm sure you're aware. And you're clicking their links or phoning them up does of course help this channel continue to survive, even if I don't want it to sometimes. Right, I'm gonna go bang my head against the wall some more off camera. Goodbye. So here we are in the barn of broken dreams, my little nest of, ow!